Cool. So let's get it going today. Let's start off, as always, with some wins. So in the chat, any win that you have had in the past 7 days. It could be in the gym, it could be with your nutrition, it could be professional life, it could be personal life, it could be literally anything. Maybe you hit a PR, maybe you had a really good meal prep week. Maybe I don't know, anything. We get a lot of different things. So any win that you have had in the past 7 days, maybe you just got started with this journey. Any win that you have had. What's my win? I've had a very happy week. So that's my win. But I finally got back to the gym yesterday after being sick for what felt like forever. So any win, drop it in the chat. Are they coming up? Oh, okay. Okay, got it. RDL, 50 pounds. That is sick. Nice. Congrats. I've eaten breakfast for the first time in my life for almost 3 weeks straight. Oh my God, that is amazing. The connection with the body. Breakfast is self-care. I love breakfast. It starts the day. It's always a simple meal. It's always something that you kind of enjoy. We also have every single day. Love that. Meal prepped some really good protein oats. Please share that with me. Did you see the one on my story today? It was like mashed bananas. I've never thought to like mash the bananas and put it in the oats, so I'm so excited. But if you have a good recipe, send it to me. Not beating myself up for not going to the gym in over 2 weeks. Hopefully you feel better soon, Maria. I just started my workouts this week, feeling great so far, and it feels like a win. Awesome. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Always finding wins with this process. Like, one, it is a very long process. This is a very long journey, and it's not always going to be wins like, oh, like, I lost this amount of weight, or like my biceps all of a sudden like are popping out. Like, it can't just be physique. It can't just be only like PRs. Like, when we find those little tiny wins, it's like, okay, I am doing very good. Like having breakfast in the morning, like body is responding to hunger, getting back to workouts. These are all wins that keep us going, because sometimes on a day-to-day, it can feel like, damn, am I even progressing? But when you look in 3 months, you're like, oh, okay, this has been working, right? So that's the main reason that we kind of do this. So let me get it going today. I'm going to share my screen. Share. Okay, cool. If you have any questions as we go, let me know, or you can unmute yourself, but today should be relatively quick. One of my favorite calls is the vision board call. So if you've never done one before, oh, shit, where'd it go? Can you guys still see it? No. You can. I can't see it. I see my system is telling me that I need to update. How do I make it stop? Okay, wait. Okay, I think it's back. Okay, sorry about that. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Anyways, one of my favorite calls, because I've always I've heard about vision boards. Has anybody made a vision board? Raise your hand if you have, or no. Okay, we're getting a couple no's. You can even put it in the chat if you don't have your screen on. But by the way, always welcome to turn your camera on. So this is your first time. The biggest thing with making a vision board is just making sure that it's something that isn't overwhelming. I see these and if you look up how to make a vision board, sometimes they are so much clutter that you're not visualizing anything. They're just a bunch of different pictures. There's too much going on. And that was a mistake that I had made in the past of I follow this blueprint of 1 month goals, 3 month goals, 6 months, 1 year, in every single financial relationship, every single area of my life. I started to create this vision. And I remember looking back at that year and I pulled it up and I was like, that made 0 sense. I literally was so unfocused. There was nothing to visualize because there was too much. So this new system that we actually started last year really helped my vision board come to life. And when I looked back at it at the end of the year, I realized like, holy shit, like a lot of this actually came to life. Like this is the first year that I was able to use my vision board correctly. So take some notes today, but really you're just gonna have homework to get this done, and we'll keep it really simple today. So we're gonna be working on reflecting, goal setting, and then creating your goal. All right, so reflecting. Reflecting, this is a good time of year. And if you're not already, like, I would love to say that every single day I reflect on the day, or every single week I reflect on the week. I don't, in a perfect world, sometimes I do, but at the end of the year, it's always nice to just reflect on the year, right? Not that a year is like your milestone, but at the same time, it does feel like, you know, you're just ended off the year, you get to start fresh. So a couple of things that we can use to reflect, because ideally we want to start building off from last year, and we also want to celebrate all the good things that we did. So you can screenshot this or you can write it down. So what were your biggest accomplishments this year? What were some small wins that you have had this year? What challenges did you encounter, and how did you overcome them? This is one of my favorite ones, because when we think of these challenges, and most importantly, how we overcome them, it gives us the confidence that we can continue to overcome challenges. What are you going to leave behind in the old year? Maybe you didn't really structure, you were like all over the place, or maybe it's a certain individual that we need to separate ourselves from. Like, what are you leaving behind in the old year? Did you make any new relationships this year? Talk about how those relationships contributed to your growth. Reflect on those. How have you changed this year? What habits do you wish to keep consistent? And what is the advice from this year that you can keep for years and years and years, right? So again, you don't have to do this today, but I really love just like sitting down with a journal. I usually take like a self-care day. I'll talk about that in a little bit, just to kind of reflect on this, reflect on who you are or who you were in this past year, and how can we start to just better ourselves little by little. All right, so now setting goals. Setting goals, it's very important too. I was never like a goal setter, and now I've started to become one. And like I've mentioned when we talked about like scheduling your day, when we think of scheduling your day, it's a skill. The first time you schedule your day hour by hour, nothing like works. You forget to add the fact that maybe you'll have to use a bathroom at some point, and then all of your schedule just goes to shit. Same thing about setting goals. Sometimes you set goals and they're just a little bit all over the place. But when we do set goals, we trigger new behaviors, we help guide our focus, and we create a healthy momentum in life. But there is a difference, right, between different types of goal setting. So we can set two different types of goals. We can set those big like dream goals, right? Maybe you want to have a certain car, or have a certain job, or something with your family, or maybe you want to move, or literally anything. Like, these are the bigger goals that maybe you're not going to do this year, and you know that you're not going to do this year, but there's still goals that you have in mind. Maybe you want to get to the point where you want to deadlift 2 plates or 3 plates. You want to deadlift 315, but right now you're not even at 1 plate, right? Like, those are the big goals, right? And then the other side is going to be goal settings. These are SMART goals. So these are specific, these are measurable, these are achievable, realistic, and timely. All right, so we want to be able to put on this vision board 2 different types of goals that right now we can start working towards. So if I want to deadlift 225, right? First, I have to make sure that I am going to the gym every single day, or I'm going to the gym 5 times a week, right? So when I start doing that, then I'm working towards that bigger goal. All right, so we're going to start with SMART goal settings. Now, there is a difference. And when you start creating your vision board, when you start like putting together the things that you want to achieve, we have to pay attention to language, right? How can we be specific with these goals? So, for example, I'm going to read more. If you want to read more this year and you say, I'm going to read more, reading more means you could just read like 1 book. Maybe you didn't read at all this year, but I'm going to read 12 books this year, 1 every month. Unfortunately, this was one of my goals last year, and this was the one that I looked at my vision board and I was like, oh fuck, didn't get there, but we'll talk about that later. Next, I'm going to squat 315. If I put that on my vision board, odds are I'm not going to increase my squat by that much within a year. However, I can start with a goal of I'm going to squat 225. So maybe for you, you have that goal of putting a 45 on each side and you're not quite there yet. You just kind of got into the barbell. Maybe that first goal is being able to squat with a 25, right? So let's be a little bit more specific. Let's make it measurable so that we can start increasing, because once you hit that 25 on each side, then you do start hitting that 35 and that 45, right? Another thing, I'm going to focus on myself. That's very broad. Focusing on yourself. We're always focusing on ourselves, but how are you going to focus on yourself? I'm going to journal for 10 minutes every single day, right? Another one. And next, I'm going to start my own business. A lot of you have little, like your different projects, or you're working on like building a side business or creating your own bigger business. And that's great, right? But with this, I'm going to start my own business is like, yeah, that's a goal. But when are you going to open up that LLC? I'm going to open up that LLC by February, right? Because then we look at that vision board and it's like, okay, that's the first thing that's step one. And yes, opening up my own business is on my vision board, but putting in that LLC is more specific. All right, so are you guys kind of seeing how like the language really does matter? I'm going to read more is not a vision. A vision is I'm going to read 6 books this year. Maybe I'll start with that one this year. Now, next, I want you to pause and write down some of your goals. So real quick, let's just kind of brainstorm on here, like what are some of the goals that you do want to accomplish? And I'll kind of give you a minute there. What are some goals? And when I think of these goals, and you can kind of listen in as you're writing these down, when I think of these goals, I do like to have them in different categories. So it could be like my personal life, being like my relationships, relationship with my family, relationship with my partner. All right. Also in my fitness. So maybe something nutrition wise that I want to work on. Last year was about slowing down when it came to my nutrition. Usually I'm on the go, I'm eating, I'm fast, right? Slowing down with my workouts, right? So that's another one, physical. So relationships, physical, even spiritual can be a category. Financial can be a category as well, right? And then even like maybe educational, right? So different types of categories that you want to grow in. Give you one more minute. I'm going to open this little juice box that I have here. Okay, cool. So next one. So next, when you start to sit down and you're creating your vision board, next thing we did the old, right? So you're journaling, you did the old, and I gave you the little screenshot. Again, if you guys didn't screenshot that, I can send it to you. Just shoot me a message, be like, hey, can you send me a screenshot of both of those? Yes. Next, let's start talking about the new. So what are 2 ways that you will push yourself outside of your comfort zone this year? 2 ways that you will push yourself out of your comfort zone. Now, maybe it's in certain outfits that you've been wearing. Maybe you want to, dress a little bit different for the gym. You've kind of been holding back. You've been wearing like t-shirts. Maybe that could be a way that you're going to push out of your comfort zone. Maybe it's going to be, talking more in meetings at work. You kind of have something to say, but like you kind of hold back a little bit. All right, what are just 2 ways that you can push outside of your comfort zone? Again, make them like very micro, just 2. What gym strengths will you achieve? Right, language. I will get to 10 push-ups. I will squat 135. I will deadlift 135. I will get my first pull-up. What daily habits will you have? I will wake up on my first alarm. I will journal every single day. What are the overall financial goals for this coming year? Where will you travel? What relationships will you manifest in your life? Relationships are so beautiful, and it's very important that relationships being with your family, with your friends, and with your partners as well. Who do you want to be? And one of my favorite ones is brainstorm 10 to 20 words that encapsulate the energy that you're calling into this coming year. So reflect on these words and then choose one word that is going to be your overall intention for this coming year. So this is going to be your word of the year. I actually have had a phrase of the year because I made a word and I was like, I can't really narrow it down. And my phrase this year was to work less, but create more. So just having that was like my biggest thing. Work less, create more. I've definitely done my fair share of working, just burning myself out. So every single time that I looked at my vision board, it was like, how can I start to create more? Who do I need to be to create more of that energy? So brainstorm, maybe it could be like consistency, maybe it could be, I want it to be like a little bit more specific, but brainstorm some words that you can put on there. And now your big dreams. So now we can start to get into that as well. So now pause and write down some bigger long-term goals, right? I want to travel Italy for 2 weeks. That's what I'm like, or like 3. Honestly, I really want to go there. I want to travel XYZ. I want to have, this type of car, this type of relationship. I want my business to get to this amount. Like, what are these bigger long-term goals? Let's put that on there. Those aren't going to be as specific. So if you put like a picture of a car or a picture of a house, right? That's fine. These are bigger goals that we just visualize as we start to work towards that higher self. All right. So now creating your vision. So in a sense, this is kind of how, like, if you, when you do this, I definitely, I encourage you to just look at different ones. You could type in vision boards on Google or on TikTok or Instagram. A bunch of different ones will come on. I like kind of like this vibe. I don't keep mine too cluttered, but I had a pretty good poster board, and I'll show you the one that I did this year. But just how can we get those goals that you set into pictures, right? And into words. So I don't have a picture of mine because I forgot to take it. But basically what I did last year is I took a big poster board. Some people did it on a small paper, but I do recommend putting it on a poster board, right? And then pasting like how you can visualize that. So maybe for you it's, I really want like a Tesla. Like I've always wanted a Tesla. So I had like a picture of a Tesla on mine. Maybe if you want to squat 135, it's a picture of a girl squatting 135. If you want to be more intentional in your morning, maybe you're putting a picture of the morning, right? So something that I did last year, and I'll show you mine, was like, I'm big on traveling. And I put the 3 places that I wanted to go to. I ended up going to these 2. I wasn't able to go to Peru because they were having issues, but I went to Guatemala, so I'll take that as a win, right? But those were some things that like at one point I was like, damn, when am I going to make these trips? Like I really want to make 3 trips, and just seeing it on my vision board was always, it kind of brought it more to life, and it put that little pressure on me that I had to plan this out. All right. And then these were more so of like my bigger goals, right? Move out of my house. So I ended up doing that, which is cool. I put a picture of a car, and then eventually I want to have a house gym to look like pretty kick-ass. So I put that as well. Right. So these is what I did for my bigger goals. And then I put training goals, 315, 225, 135. I still have not hit any of them, but they'll be there. They'll continue to be there until I hit them. And then I put a lot of like day-to-day habits. So the reading goal, what I did with my reading goal and what I really liked that I did but didn't hit it, the first couple of months it went really well for me, and then it kind of fell off a little bit, is with the reading goal, I put a specific goal. So I put like, read 1 book every single month, and then I put like January, February, like I wrote all the months. So every month that I've read a book, I crossed it off. So that kind of helped me visualize it a little bit more. Waking up earlier, being a morning person, not being so attached to my phone. So just seeing things like this, when I found myself like, being on my phone too much or being super anxious, I look at my vision board and it was there, and it's like, okay, Nicole, like you have to bring yourself back to your goals. I put different ones here. Anything that you can kind of visualize and really call in that energy of how you want to live this year. So this was my entire vision board. I just cut all of these up and then I put them on a big poster board. As you can see, there's not too much on there. Like it kind of gives energy, it kind of gives like certain goals, but it's not too much. All right. So last thing, the most important thing, so you wrote all this down, which is great. Now it's important to pause and to actually implement. So your action steps, and you can write this down. Set dates. So when are you going to snowball ideas? Put this into your calendar. You guys can even I think after calls, if you just like take a moment to regroup, when are you going to snowball ideas? I personally don't snowball and make my vision board on the same day. I snowball ideas and then I get everything kind of like a mess. And then I do like a second draft. And then that's when like I actually print it out. I cut it out. I have fun. I do like a little crafty day. So when are you going to snowball ideas and when are you going to actually make it? Make sure that you get your supplies. So you can also put that, if you're doing a board, you need markers, print out the papers, decorations, whatever. Maybe you're getting yourself like a nice meal. Maybe you're getting yourself like some wine. Maybe you're getting yourself like a dessert, whatever it is. Like, how are you going to set the vibe for that day? Because this should be a very empowering day. All right. And then implement, have a day for yourself and make sure that you put it all together. Oops. And lastly is make it visible. Put it in a place that you can actually see it. All right, so maybe this will be in your bedroom. I had mine in my bedroom because I was my biggest goal was to become a morning person and to have better energy in the morning. So I really enjoyed waking up and putting myself into that position. But maybe for you, it's putting it in your office or somewhere around the house. Just make sure that it's visible. Again, this is going to be in your house all week or all year. So make it cute so that you actually want it. I don't care if you frame it, whatever you do, just make it visible. And the biggest thing with this is like, if this is your first time making it and you're making it in such a way that really does bring this vision to life, like see in a year how different this year can go for you, how you start to set and accomplish so many more goals by just seeing it. Because and I was this way too, every January, I knew all of the goals that I wanted to achieve and I knew the kind of person that I wanted to be. But since I got so wrapped up into like all of my habits and the craziness of life, it was all just like a cloud of nothing in my head. Like I wanted to achieve it, but I couldn't see it. So this has helped me a ton. Oh, I forgot my little phrase. But I'll say it. As usual, remember food is love and strength is power. Maybe that can be in your vision board. Do we have any questions on this? Be self-explanatory. Are we feeling good about this? Are we? Yes. Cool. Cool. Again, when you're making this, make it as like specific as you can. Sorry, I have to leave a little early. Family reunion. Enjoy. I'm excited to make mine. Cool. So let's so as a group and we can set a day. I was gonna say for next Tuesday. Do you think that's feasible? Giving everybody a week, or do you guys think it's gonna get crazy with like the holidays? What are we thinking? Because I think next Tuesday is okay. Probably need a little bit more time with the holidays. What's the calendar looking like? Holidays, Sunday. Okay. So what about we do by not this Friday, but next Friday? Because I think a lot of people have off. So this way, like I know you have to go last minute shopping, whatever you have to do. You have family day. We don't really do anything too crazy on Christmas. So I might use like Christmas or Tuesday. I actually wanted to do this with my best friend, but I'll have a draft. Oh, that's awesome. That's a great idea too. Maybe you guys can implement this. Some of you have kids, some of you have partners like implementing it. So let's do next Friday. Next Friday, the 29th is our like deadline to get this done. So whenever you do yours, maybe you do your draft or you actually have yours. Last year we did this as well. Like take a picture of it and post it in the group. Obviously, you guys know the deal. We're not here to judge you on all of your goals. I had a really random stuff on mine too that people didn't understand, like my favorite brand, where I get my platforms. Why? I have like this thought that I'm gonna get sponsored by them, and hey, maybe. That was like my fun vision. So yeah, next Friday, you post a picture of it. Let us know how you built it or what you kind of created from there, and then we'll go from there. Next Tuesday, we're not gonna have a call. So that's the day after Christmas, being the 26th. So we'll have that week off. And yeah. So now let's kind of regroup. Does anybody want to share something, maybe something that's worked for them, if you've done anything like this or anything that resonated? No? If you want to, unmute yourself, it's easier. And then lastly, do you have any questions on anything not related to this? Did something come up in the gym? Did something come up nutrition wise? Anything at all? No? Let you go. I just really needed this call today. I was feeling so down. Oh, love that for you. And I'm happy you came. We're always here to boost you up. Bring some good energy. Okay, so I'll let you guys go. Again, looking forward to seeing your vision board. I will get on mine. Don't know when I'm going to do it, so I need a day to just schedule that in. Appreciate you as always, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.